Testing. All right, good evening. And welcome to the Town of Ajax Committee of Adjustments meeting for today, Wednesday, December the 13th. This meeting of the Committee of Adjustments is being held electronically and live streamed on the internet pursuant to the Committee of Adjustments terms of reference and meeting procedures. All regular practices and procedures of the committee continue to apply during this electronic meeting. If we encounter any technical difficulties, we may take a brief recess. While they are resolved, thank you in advance for your patience. We'll now proceed with the meeting. I'll now like to call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. We'd like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas, more specifically the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, signatories of the Gunshot Treaty of 1788 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. This land is and will continue to be home to the Indigenous peoples. Let us acknowledge the mistakes and traumas of the past through authenticity and support truth and reconciliation. Let us engage and celebrate Indigenous communities by being leaders of action in acknowledging the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recommendations towards truth and reconciliation. Before moving on to the application portion of this meeting, I'd like to confirm whether there are any disclosures of interest from members of the committee. Seeing none. I'd like to look for a motion to adopt the previous meeting minutes from our last meeting in November.
I'll move to accept the minutes from November 29th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment.
Okay, thank you. And do we have a seconder? Ken, thank you. And any discussion on the motion? If not, then I'll look for a vote. All those in favor, just vote electronically. And the motion has been carried. Thank you. I'd like to now quickly review the mandate of the committee. The committee here is bound by the Planning Act to assess each application based upon its ability to meet four tests: that the application is minor in nature, it's desirable for the appropriate development or use of the lands, and finally, it's in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The process for tonight's meeting will be conducted in the following manner. The applicant or agent will be called upon, and at their option, they may provide a brief description of the minor variance application they have applied for. The committee members may ask questions of the applicant and or agent, after which anyone with a direct interest in the application will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the application. Once a motion is put forward, however, by a committee member, there will be no further input from the applicant or anyone having interest in the application. After a decision is made, notice will be sent out and there will be a 20-day appeal period. The decision of the committee may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, or the OLT, by the applicant or a specified person or public body, as outlined in the Planning Act. Please note that third-party appeals are not permitted. After 20 days, the decision will become final and binding. If a building permit or other approvals are required, they may be filed during the appeal period. However, please note that no permits or approvals will be issued until the appeal period is over and the decision becomes final and binding. A respectful decorum during this evening's proceedings is expected of all present at all times. I'd like to now take a brief moment to introduce you to the committee members presiding over the procedures this evening. To my immediate right, we have Tomas Baca, Ken Elliott, Brian Hayes, and I'm the chairperson of the committee, Wasif Ahmed. And to my left, we have town staff and from both the planning department and the legislation department. I'd like to now look for, I think, a slight change to the agenda that was issued online. We will first proceed with application A3123, then move to A3923, then A3623. Those are the three applications that we have in front of us. For application A3123, this is for as submitted by Social Professional Engineers, Inc., for 250-4595 Ontario, Inc., for 1350 Church Street North is the civic address. This application, there is a recommendation by town staff to actually defer this application to a future meeting. So the applicant is not here, or representative is not here. So we are looking to defer this application to a future meeting. It could be in January, or it could be in February, or later, depending on the process that the applicant is currently going through. So if you are here for any discussion for this particular application, the committee will hear this application at its next meeting or the meeting after. Okay. And I will now also look to seek that the committee, as long as they're okay with the recommendation for a deferral, so I'll look for a motion. Ken?
I would move deferral.
Okay, perfect. Can I get a seconder? Brian, say you first. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, then we'll do an electronic vote. All those in favor? Okay, so again, the application for 1350 Church Street North has been deferred. This is application A3123 to a future Committee of Adjustments meeting. We'll now move to application A3923. And this is for 36 Unsworth Crescent. The minor variance application was submitted by Azhar Mehdi and Leila Azhar. And do we have anybody here to speak for it? Could I welcome you to the podium, sir? And just while you're coming up, I'll look for town staff to confirm whether notice was served on this application and whether there was any communication received.
Mr. Chair, notice was served and there was no communications received.
Okay, thank you. So could I just have you introduce yourself, sir?
Sorry, one moment. If you can just hit the button on the delegate unit there, right in the middle, to activate your microphone.
Yep. This mic should be red. There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, my name is Azhar Mehdi. I am the owner of the 36 Unsworth Crescent. So we apply for the minor variance to open a side entrance from our north side door for our personal use. Because my son is adult and my wife is doing hijab. So my friend is coming, my son's friend is coming. She's not comfortable to someone come from the middle of the house. So we like to open a side entrance with a temporary wall in the house, just to make it comfortable for her, for me too, yeah.
Okay. And there is a town staff report that the committee has been, they've received, and you can see it up on the screen.
Yep.
It does recommend, as you can see the first line under recommendation, that the committee approve the application and subject to 6 conditions, I believe, that the subject variance apply only to the property municipally known as 36 Unsworth, and in accordance with the drawings that were submitted, that the unobstructed pedestrian path of travel to and from the uncovered steps be maintained at all times, that an unobstructed pedestrian path to and from the rear yard also be maintained at all times, that any existing utilities be relocated as necessary in consultation with the applicable utility agencies and the town building services section to a location that does not conflict with the uncovered steps or above grade entrance or impede access, that the owner applicant also maintain the existing drainage on the property, and that the owner applicant obtain all necessary building permits and for this project. And contravention of any one of these conditions would mean that the decision that we're making today would become null and void. Are you familiar, and can you acknowledge that you're in receipt and comfortable with these conditions?
Yes, because we already discussed before, so we have to move the air condition from side to the rear side. This is the main, and I see there is no utilities going from there, so there is only need to move the air condition from rear to the back side. And there is no drainage over there, so we will look with the concerned if there is need to change anything.
Okay. All right, so you're acknowledging all 6 conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then I'll open it up to committee members for any questions that they may have. Brian?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Above the door, no doubt, you're probably going to put a light to,
The light?
you're probably going to put a light above the door to shine down on the stairs. If and when you do put that light in, can you please make sure that it shines down and it doesn't cast a lot of light over into your neighbor's yard?
Okay, sure.
All right. Any other questions from committee? Yep, go ahead, Ken.
So the request is for a staircase that's going up into the side of the house?
Yep.
Okay. I just wondered if we could have page 38, figure 4. So is the proposed entrance between the two windows that show at the side of your house?
No,
is it-
basically we are going to remove the one window
Okay.
and the door is going to that place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from committee? No? Is there anybody here to speak for or against the application? And again, we're on application A3923 for 36 Unsworth Crescent. No? Staff, can you just confirm there's nobody online to speak for this? Or
Mr. Chair, I can confirm that there's no one online speaking to this application.
thank you, appreciate that. All right, so if that's the case, thank you, Mr. Azar, I appreciate you. Then I'll look for a vote. I'll look for a motion, rather. That's what I meant to say. So,
I'll move the motion to accept minor variance application A3923 for 36 Unsworth Crescent.
okay, thank you, Brian. You got a seconder? Tomas?
Second the motion.
Thank you. And any discussion on the motion? Okay, then I'll look for a vote. Okay, Mr. Razor, so congratulations, your motion, the minor variance application has been approved this evening by the Committee of Adjustments. It'll now be subject to the 20-day appeal period, and after which the decision will become binding.
Okay.
Okay?
So what is the next step? So I have to submit for the work permit for,
So you probably have been working with a planner from the town of Ajax.
okay,
So I would just consult with the planner on tomorrow during the business day, and they'll walk you through what the next steps are.
okay, sure.
Okay?
Okay,
All
thank you.
right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Mr. Chair, just before we move on to the next application, we do have an individual online, and I'd like to confirm what application they would like to speak to tonight. I see Alyssa, you're online. If you can click the button in the middle of your screen that looks like a head with some lines emanating away from it, just like to confirm which application you're here to speak to tonight. Alyssa, I see that your mic is active, but I can't hear you.
Sorry. No, it's on mute. Sorry about that. No, I have to get the piece of paper, but the application is for the 5-story condo slash plaza that's on Church Street.
Okay. Just for your awareness, before you join the meeting tonight, the committee has deferred consideration of that application until its next meeting in January.
Oh, okay. So is it okay that I log off then? And then will there be communication on when that will be in January?
Yes. Follow-up communication will be shared, and you can log off and join at the January meeting.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Mr. Chair, it's yours.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So we'll move to our final application of the evening. This is application number, pardon me, A3623 for 23 Kirkham Drive. And the application is seeking a maximum lot coverage variance and a maximum gross floor area variance and a maximum accessory building height variance as well. I assume, sir, you're here to speak for the application?
I am.
Okay, perfect. And your name again is? My name is Clinton Dochek from Home Drafting and Design. Okay, thank you. And can I, before we get started, I'll hand over the floor to you. Can I just get staff to confirm whether notice was served on this application and whether any correspondence was received?
Mr. Chair, notice was served and there was no correspondence.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening again, sir. We'll hand over the floor to you to perhaps tell us a little bit about the project.
Thank you, Chair. So through you, Chair, the purpose of this development is in accordance with Bill C-23, which is to increase the density and allow for more residential units to be within the zoning of this property. We are looking today to add an additional unit in what is an existing garage and extend that existing garage to allow for enough livable space for a two-bedroom apartment. In doing so, we will be extending out the back and also increasing the height of the building. So we have a limiting factor of the existing floor height in the existing garage that is causing us to have to exceed the allowable 4.5 meters of height for the building. In adding enough living space to have a two-bedroom apartment, we have to increase the overall gross floor area from the 60 square meters we're allowed to 115 square meters. And of course, with the size of the structure and a additional proposed shed down the way, we wanted to allow for that ability without having to come back to the committee for the possibility of an existing shed or a new shed, sorry. We are asking for a lot coverage of 18% for all of our accessory structures. We have reviewed the comments from the planning department and see the following conditions. Just for clarity's sake, on number 2, stating maximum ground floor area of 60 square meters, I just want to get clarification that that includes just the foundational area and not any overhangs of the second story.
Through the chair, that is correct. It is just the ground floor area.
And through you, Chair, we are more than happy to accept any of these and all of these conditions that are here. And we hope that you see that this is minor in nature, that it meets the general criteria and desirable nature of this property and meets the official plans.
Okay, thank you. I'll look to my fellow committee members for any questions. Ken?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I wanted to confirm that if I look at Figure 2 on page 26, that the existing garage building will not function as a garage, but it will be incorporated into the residential area. There is a square at the front that I didn't tell if that was a garage or not.
Through you, Chair. So no, that it will no longer be used as a garage. In working with the planning department, we are allowing for all 4 parking spaces that are required for both the accessory dwelling unit inside the principal dwelling unit, as well as this unit out in the existing and proposed parts of the garage to be all out in the driveway. So the garage that is there will be completely converted into living space.
Okay. On the same picture, there is a rectangle at the back. Is that an air conditioning unit or something similar?
Through you, Chair, yeah. For the purposes of this submission, we wanted to show where our heat pump was going to be located on the property. So that is going to be for the heating, ventilation, air conditioning of that structure.
Right. And I see a dashed line around the outside. Is that the rear property line?
Through you, Chair, yes. That dotted line is our rear property line. The proposed additional structure will be coming up to 1.58 meters from the property line.
Okay. And you say that there's going to be 4 parking spaces in the driveway. It looks like it's single driveway. So is it going to be widened, or how does someone get in and out aside from doing some juggling?
Through you, Chair, there will have to be some juggling. Unfortunately, there's no width to the side. We are right up against the property line on the one side and against the building on the other side. So there's no room to widen the driveway. You'll notice at the front of the property, to allow for a parking that would be in front of the principal dwelling unit, we would actually have to reduce the size of the parking to a size that would be inadequate for a car to park out front. So all 4 cars are being parked in a line, in tandem.
Thank you.
Any other questions, committee? Tomas?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have a question for the planning staff. The proposed gross floor area of 115 square meters, does that include the future shed?
Through the chair, that is correct. It's all structures.
And do we have any idea how big the shed will be in the future, or?
Is it on the drawing?
8 by 8.
8 by 8 feet?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from committee? Okay. I'll ask anyway. Is there anybody else online to either speak for or against this application?
Mr. Chair, there is not.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Ken.
So I just wanted to confirm, in the report, it talked about there is one part of the elevation that has no windows on the second floor. I believe that was the north side. So we show the west and the south side elevation. So which is the side that doesn't have windows?
Through you, Chair, it is the side facing the property line on the north side. Because of our proximity to the property line, it's only 0.6 meters. Due to Ontario building requirements, all windows that would be across that side would all have to be fire rated and be secured in such a way that they wouldn't be operable. So rather than putting any windows along the north side, we eliminated all windows on the north side and have them all facing into the property or to the front of the property.
So is that have anything to do with noise attenuation from the proximity to the highway?
Through you, Chair, it was not a question that arose in the development stage with the planning department, being concerned about noise attenuation, but as an additional consideration, having no windows on those sides definitely helps.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Dochak.
Thank you.
I'll look for then a motion from the committee. Ken?
Mr. Chair, I would move adoption of minor variance A 3623, subject to the conditions as identified by the town staff in the report.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second the application, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tomas. And any discussion on the motion? If not, then I'll look for a vote.
One moment, Mr. Chair.
Okay. You were okay for the last vote, last two votes, right? Yeah, just all of them. Okay.
Mr. Chair, we can conduct that vote again if you'd like.
Yes, let's do that. So again, we're voting on a motion as put forth by committee members. Ken, seconded by Tomas, to approve application A3623 for 23 Kirkham. I'll look for now for a vote on that motion. And the vote has been carried unanimously. So thank you, Mr. Dochak, and good luck with your project. It'll now be up to the appeal period before the decision becomes final and binding.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that concludes the application portion of this evening's meeting. So we'll now go to other business and new business from committee or staff. Okay, seeing none, then I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Brian?
Motion to adjourn the current meeting?
Okay, seconded by Ken. I saw your hand up first, sorry. And all those in favor, please vote. So the vote to adjourn this evening's meeting, December 13th, has been carried, and the meeting is now adjourned at 7:25 p.m. Thank you.